A pothole has claimed the life of a doctor in Maharashtra. Now the news is coming from Bhiwandi in Maharashtra, where a doctor has been killed in the crash. Now what's important to understand is that the root cause of the doctor's death is a pothole, after which a truck ran over the doctor, which caused his death. Now locals have been protesting and have blocked the road. Civil negligence is being blamed for the tragedy. Crucial information coming in from Maharashtra. Tragic news indeed. A doctor has passed away due to a pothole-related death. Now, what's important to understand is that Dr. Naseem Ansari was returning home on his Activa after having lunch. During this time, the pothole on the road caused him to lose his balance and fall on the road. After which, what's important to understand is that the rear tire of a truck passing by crushed him, killing him on the spot. Well, on this, we have my colleague Anuj joining us on the telecast. Anuj, some tragic news coming in from Maharashtra at this point in time. There's been a tragic death of a doctor due to a pothole. Now, what exactly are you learning in this situation?
Reed, as you said earlier, this unfortunate incident happened when Dr. Naseem Ansari, who is a resident of Bhiwandi, after finishing his lunch in a dhaba, yesterday, was going back to his Activa. And as soon as he hit the roads, we have to understand that Bhiwandi is one of the most pothole-riddled area in this entire, MMR region. And people there have been protesting for the longest time to the local administration to find some sort of solution to it. When he was traveling back to his work, because of a pothole, his vehicle lost balance, and within no time he was crushed by a truck that was coming from the other side. As there was very little time for him to take control of himself and of the bike back after falling down following the pothole accident. Now, as I said earlier, this is an extremely serious incident, especially because this is nothing new that has happened in Bhiwandi, right? Visuals and inputs about potholes and pothole-related accidents have been coming in from Bhiwandi and close by areas for the longest possible time. In fact, just 2 months ago, we reported about how, in a very similar incident, in fact, two such similar incidents happened, one in Mumbai's, northern suburbs area, and other in Pune's, one of the most busiest area, where a senior citizen lost the life, where because of a pothole, the vehicle lost balance and a truck came and crushed those two individuals. So we can see a pattern here, but what has changed in the case of Bhiwandi is that the locals, who have already been at the forefront of complaining to the local authorities about getting a solution, and a long-term one in that against potholes, have hit the streets once again following this particular incident yesterday. There was a huge amount of anger amongst the local residents in Bhiwandi, which led to some sort of demonstrations happening at the Vanzar Party Chowk, which is near Siraj Hospital, exactly at the spot where the accident took place. Of course, the police was prompt to make sure that the protesters were dispersed as quickly as possible, but this sheds light at the broader problem of the potholes and of the lack of maintenance of roads that has been existing here in the city for the longest possible time.
Right, absolutely, Anuj. In fact, continue to stay with us on the telecast as we track more information related to this. Now, Maharashtra Ministers Ashish Shalar and Mangal Prabhat Lodha have assured that Mumbai will have pothole-free roads in Mumbai before Ganesh Chaturthi. Now, the ministers directed civic agencies to repair all potholes in 3 days using effective mastic asphalt technology. Now, the focus areas are flyovers in Vakola, Vikhroli, Goregaon for urgent repair. Now, as per the BMC, the ministers had received about 8,000 pothole-related complaints. Well, going back to my colleague Anuj, Anuj, the ministers have claimed that the BMC has received about 8,000 complaints. We've just discussed the occurrence of a pothole-related death. You were earlier also telling me about how there's been, of course, incidents of death in multiple areas. Help us understand, how exactly will, this plan of the ministers come to light, given the fact that 3 days, and of course, there's very little time before the Ganesh Chaturthi.
Well, yes. The yesterday meeting took place, which was held by the Guardian Minister of Mumbai, Ashish Shalar, in presence of representatives from BMC, Slum Rehabilitation Authority, officials from City Development Planning, and also the Mumbai Traffic Police. All of them decided and instructed the BMC contractors that in the next 3 days, the 8,000 complaints that the BMC has received from its online portal will be prioritized and potholes will be sorted out in the next 3 days before the 27th of this month. But the reason why such kind of prompt action has been put into place is because we saw how last week, when there was an incessant amount of rainfall in the Mumbai city, one of the major reasons for waterlogging and for the city to come to a standstill was not just the heavy amount of rain, but was also the poor infrastructure and the lack of facilities when it comes to the pothole-ridden roads, not just in few parts of the city, but pretty much across the MMR region. Keeping that in mind, the government seems to have taken an interest in making sure that the roads will be made pothole-free before the Ganesh Chaturthi begins, because thousands of people, not just from across the city, but across the state, will be making their way to Mumbai, which will put a huge amount of pressure on the city's roads. Now, important to understand that this is not the first time that such kind of claims and promises are being made by ministers. Yes, it was also Devendra Fadnavis who also got on call with the BMC Commissioner Bhushan Gagrani, and there was also a discussion about the usage of mastic asphalt, a material which is considered to be traffic friendly. However, as the opposition claims, such kind of promises have been made time and again, especially in the last couple of monsoons where, a deadline or a timeline was set in place, for roads to be pothole free. But nothing or very little of this materializes by the end of the day. With the number of cases related to accidents, and as we just discussed a while back, related to deaths as well, are increasing not just in Mumbai city but across the MMR region, there seems to be a need by the authorities to put in a long-term plan as far as the pothole problem of the city is concerned. Now, will this prompt action or prompt plan rather, result into any sort of a constructive procedure being put in place is something that we'll only know as we inch closer to Ganesh Chaturthi later this month.